Special drawing rights are reserves, spendable money at essentially zero interest rates, available to countries basically by a decision of the board of the IMF, which is the essentially the G20 countries or the G7 countries to a substantial extent. What happens with an SDR allocation is that countries are allocated in proportion to their IMF quota, which itself is basically in proportion to national income, reserves called SDRs, which can be exchanged by the reserve holder for currency, dollars, pounds, euros, yen, renminbi, through an exchange between the SDR holder and the currency issuer. It's not quite printing money, but it's not so different from that. And that's what we need to do right now is get purchasing power urgently into the hands of developing countries. Now, there are two steps to that I would like people to be aware of. The first step is the general SDR allocation itself, which is proportionate to the quota. Most of that money goes to high-income countries and to upper middle-income countries because that's where the quotas are, because that's where the production is. A meaningful part goes to poor countries, but most goes to the rich countries. Then a number of the rich countries have already agreed in private with the IMF and in high-level financial discussions that they will recycle what they receive as reserves into funding for the poor countries. Not every country will do this. Every rich country should do this. Some are ready right now to do it. And the idea is that of the hundreds of billions that would come to the rich countries as reserves, a significant part of that would be recycled on behalf of the poor countries. So there's the direct allocation, and then there is the recycling of the funds. Both of those are part of the current strategy. And if that is done, and it can be done quickly, really it can be completed even within 3 months, given some of the steps that need to be taken. There's a time lag, but it needs to be voted now at the fund board. Then that would immediately give massive purchasing power to countries that do not have it. Still a tiny fraction of what we're going to spend in one appropriation in the coming weeks.